and welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by Grounded Coffee Bar. We're here today to preview the upcoming cross-country season, and joining me is head coach Jeff DeGraw. Welcome back, Coach.
Yeah, it's been all summer, but it doesn't seem that long.
No, summer flew by. It really did. We're here to talk, cross-country season. You're the coach of both the men's and women's teams. We got one of your student athletes coming up here in a bit. But yeah, welcome back, and I'm excited to talk to you. We're just mentioning before I hit record, we can jabber on.
Oh yeah, about everything and anything. Not necessarily has to do with anything at JJC.
Nope. You've pitched the idea of doing a whole sports podcast, but not even about JJC.
Correct.
Well, before we dive into the preview, I want to remind everyone we're presented by Grounded Coffee Bar. We're here at Grounded Coffee Bar in New Lenox.
It's a great day to get grounded. With locations in New Lenox and Frankfort, it's always a good time to stop by and try our seasonal drinks, whether that's cherry as summer comes to an end or pumpkin as fall begins. We've also updated our hours to better serve you. We're open late on Fridays and Saturdays now until 9 p.m. Make sure you're following our socials. That's Instagram and Facebook for the latest updates on our specials and events so you don't miss out. Grounded Coffee Bar is a proud sponsor of Coffee with the Wolves and JJC Athletics.
All right. So, Coach, it's been a short off season, long off season. You're also the track coach, so
enjoyable off season.
Yeah. I want to start with asking, how has the weather treated you during, this preseason kind of camp? Because we were just talking about, the tornado damage I suffered.
Yeah, we've all had storm damage, but we practice in the morning, so we haven't had nothing. Yeah. It's been great because those storms come mid-morning to early afternoon, the ones that we've had, and we've had absolutely no problem. And it's nice, too, because we haven't had any problems, practicing at all. Yeah. So it's been great.
Where do you guys usually practice? Do you just practice on campus running around? Do you ever practice indoors? Do you go off-site for?
Off-site, most of them are at school, but we go, to the canal. We'll eventually, be at a track. So we try to do different things, different times, because it gets boring running in the same places all the time. Yeah. But then we do also repeat some workouts, which kind of gets boring for them. But that's all for the mental aspect of it. Yeah. You've got to get through the boredom.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, I was thinking about this on my drive here to the coffee shop, but, what's the difference in kind of practice between track and then cross country? Because track, you got a lot of running, but a lot of different events. Cross country is just that race.
Yeah, it's pretty much, all the distance people for cross country are basically doing the same thing because they're running the same race. Where in track, even the distance runners have different races to run. You could have 800 all the way up to 10,000 meters. Yeah. So they need different things at different times. So, in cross country it's nice because everybody goes together. Now, the men and women aren't necessarily going to do the same things, but they can start together, do different things, and basically end together also.
And kind of in that same realm, the distance, there's a difference for the most part between, the track side and the cross country side. How do you kind of adjust those, let's say those long distance track runners that are participating in cross country, how do they kind of adjust when it comes to track time, when they may be running a shorter distance?
Well, basically, track season the year before helps your summer running help your cross country season. Cross country, they'll see much more of the benefits come track season. Yeah. So it's almost like a year to catch up from what they're used to.
And you've said the same thing in the past, about some of your other athletes who maybe don't participate in cross country or track, but are also maybe in basketball, for example, or soccer. I know you have a track athlete who's in soccer too.
Correct. So we'll have quite a few multi-sport athletes, which is nice because that gives people the opportunity, because a lot of colleges make you choose. Yeah. And the nice thing at JJC is, the coaches work together, and if you have multi-sport athletes, because this is their only opportunity to do this, and once it's over, it's gone for the rest of their life.
Yeah. So the season starts, I believe, next week, right?
Correct, next Saturday.
You had some influx there with like, oh, we have a race, we don't have a race. Now we have a race again.
Correct.
But you only have a handful of races this year. How do you kind of keep your student athletes prepared? You're going to get to that first race, and I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I know you've got some gaps in there. So like maybe you have back-to-back races, but then maybe a week or two off. How do you kind of keep everybody prepared to compete?
Well, it's just like in track, you wouldn't run the 5,000 for the women every week into track season. So why do it in cross country? Or the same way, the men's races in college are 5 miles, so you're not going to do, a 10,000 in track every week. So you got to split it up and recover, because, there's only so much in a person throughout the season, and it culminates at the end, not at the beginning.
Yeah. I want to ask about some of your student athletes now. Let's start with the returners. Who do you expect to maybe take a leap forward this year? And when it comes time for the national meet, maybe, make a push for that podium finish you've talked about in the past?
We have 2 returning on each team. So we were hit hard with people, graduation basically. We had a huge sophomore class last year. They did well, finished 3rd at nationals both. So, we're going to be young, really young. But for both teams, they have the returners. For the men, Adrian Castillo and Glenn Ernst. They ran at the national meet last year, so that's a big advantage. At least we have some experience there, and they both ran their best races at the national meet last year, so that's good. For the women, Ember Myers, who had her best race at the national meet in cross country last year, and Gabby Williams, she was our 8th runner last year. She went to nationals, but she didn't participate in the meet in all that snow that we had last year.
I'm glad you brought that up. I had to find photos for Paula the other day there in the office, and I'm looking for the cross-country photos. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. You guys ran in snow.
I don't think we'll have snow this year, considering we're in Huntsville, Alabama.
No. I mean, I lived in Alabama for a year. We did get snow briefly and ice, but I was also in Auburn, which I think, if I recall, is a little bit further north.
Huntsville is about an hour south of Nashville.
Okay, yeah, no, I was further south then, but either way, it was fun watching the Southerners figure out ice on the roads.
Yes, I know.
But let's talk about some of your freshmen, some of these new faces to the team. I don't know if you have any names in mind for, athletes you're expecting to maybe make some noise this year, but, so young.
Yeah, it's a process right now. The big thing is getting them to believe that they can compete and do everything. We've had some step up, some do that, but it's more like, we're 3 weeks into practice. And, again, it's going to be different once they realize the distance, especially for the women are basically the same distances in high school. But for the men, once they start racing that 5 miles, it's different. Our first couple races for the men are only 5K, but I like that because we're young, and at least it gives them a chance to race collegiately without having to go through that 5-mile race right away.
How do you kind of prepare, on the men's side for that leap? You start, with the 5K, but eventually you're going to be racing a longer distance. How do you kind of prepare them?
Well, that's up to them. They're summer running. So, I know who's, the first week of practice, I know who did a lot, who didn't do a lot.
Right.
You can see that. But again, you don't race the national meet in September or October. It's November. So basically, once we start practice in junior colleges, we have about 100 days till the national meet. So just over 3 months. And that gives us plenty of time to get ready, make that adjustment, and be ready at the end of the season.
it was such a young team. I know you guys, both teams finished on the podium last year. How do you kind of keep those expectations? You want to finish in the same spot or higher, but also understanding, you've got so many freshmen on the team.
Right, it's about gaining that experience. Like the women last year got third, but the year before they sort of had a disappointment at the national meet in getting, I think, fifth.
Yeah, I think it was fifth.
And so that motivated them the following year. So it's a process. I know it's tough to always be a podium finisher. I mean, there's teams that do that. I mean, we've done it quite a bit. But every year is different. I don't care if you have everybody back. Different things can go wrong. Different things can go right. So it's just a matter of getting through this season. What we did in the past has no bearing on this year.
Now, I got one more question for you, Coach, specifically about the national meet, because this was another thing I thought of on the way in. During the season, when you're at, let's say, like this first meet next week, how many athletes can participate like in a regular season meet versus how many can participate at the national meet?
We can run everybody, unlimited numbers in every race except for the national meet. Okay. Even our region meet, we can run more than 7. But at the national meet, you can only have 7.
Okay.
7 is a cross-country team. 5 score, 2 are what they call displacers.
All right. See, I know we've talked about the final kind of the final meet parameters there, but I don't think I've ever asked about meeting in the middle of October. How many can you run? Oh, everybody.
Yeah, you can. That's the one nice thing. With track and cross-country, everybody can participate throughout the season, and they get that experience.
All right. Well, Coach DeGraw, I appreciate you joining me here in New Lenox here at Grounded Coffee Bar for Coffee with the Wolves. Obviously, we're going to have you on again, probably here in a few weeks once the season gets rolling. Who's your first meet against next week? Was it Rockford University?
No, that one got canceled.
Okay, that was the one.
So it's now at Sauk Valley.
Okay, yeah.
And it's other junior college teams. So it's just a pretty low, no team scores. It's just, after 3-4 weeks, and the next week will be almost a month, you get tired of running with the same people all the time. You want to go out and try see where you're at right now.
I understand that. Well, Coach, again, appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be back with you sometime soon, but we got one of your athletes coming up next. So.
Okay, thanks.
Next up here on Coffee with the Wolves, I'm joined by men's runner Quinn Cecich.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Grounded Coffee Bar. I don't know if you've ever been here before.
No, it's my first time here.
Nice big place.
Yeah, I like it.
We're here to preview the upcoming men's and technically women's cross-country season. Obviously you're on the men's side. Yeah. Let's start kind of at the beginning. What kind of brought you to JJC? Obviously, you've had other, your siblings raced here before.
Well,
so.
I knew I had a good connection with Coach Jeff over there because my 2 older sisters, and I knew he believed in me. So, I think I'd probably want to go there just because I know he believes in me. If he believes in me, I believe myself. I can probably achieve big things over there.
Yeah. How long have you been, running? How long have you been participating in the sport?
I started running my freshman year in high school, and then till now, yeah.
Did you do any other sports in high school?
No, I did track, but before cross-country and track, I did baseball.
Yeah. What kind of led you to switch from baseball to cross-country?
Honestly, it's just growing up, I kind of lost the urge to go out and play baseball with my friends and all that, so I was like, I think I might follow my sister's footsteps and try that out, see if I'm any good at it.
And here you are.
Here I am, yeah.
On the track side, are you going to be running track for JJC too?
Yeah, yep, track too.
I mean, that seems just like a commonality between Coach DeGraw and his athletes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll ask you the same question I asked Coach, though. Being an athlete, how do you kind of approach both sports, because they're kind of similar, and I guess I don't know what you do on the track side, but cross country is simply running. Track
is more. A lot more. Yeah. Honestly, it's just balancing out the miles and the speed work for track, but for cross country it's mostly miles, but also a little more speed, more so than track, because track you need a lot more endurance with the speed. So it's kind of like a little balancing out both ways for track.
With cross country and specifically in high school, what kind of credentials do you have? I guess how did you perform in high school?
So my junior year, I went sub 5 for the mile my first time. I set the school record for the 4 by mile with a couple of my teammates, and I ran a 2:08, 2:09, 800 my senior year last year.
Cool.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about the recruiting process. Obviously, your sisters, they had come here, so you had the connection already. What specifically kind of drew you to JJC and Coach DeGraw?
Well, I knew Coach DeGraw had a good repertoire of athletes that he had with Nathan C. already last year and the year before. And I knew he had great success here. So I knew if I wanted to be good, I could trust him being good with me.
How have you liked kind of learning under the coach so far?
I loved it. It's definitely a different experience in high school, but I feel like Coach Jeff has definitely been that coach I've always kind of looked for because he's been pushing me more than my high school coaches have.
Yeah. How has that been in kind of an adjustment? Maybe your high school coaches didn't push you as much as Coach DeGraw.
Yeah.
And now you're getting that push.
Well, high school, we would do practice at like 3 or after school, but now we're doing it early in the morning, which I'm not used to, but I kind of like it. But, I mean, Coach DeGraw, like, every day, he would be yelling at you, like, hey, stand tall, stay smooth, go get that guy, stay with him, He really pushes you mentally.
Yeah. On the mental aspect, what kind of goes into, just racing from the mental side?
It's really just all about believing in yourself and having confidence and trusting your work that you put in and trusting Coach and what he's doing for you. So if you can do that, you can really achieve what you want to achieve.
So far in this kind of preseason, kind of summer camp sort of situation, this first month, what have you and your teammates done to maybe kind of build some chemistry, kind of compete against each other?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're competing against each other too.
Yeah, a couple of days, me and my buddies, we would go get some breakfast together, kind of get to know each other. And during runs, we'd always talk to each other, get to know each other, ask what we're doing for college, what we're studying and all that. And yeah, it's just a lot of hanging out with each other, getting to know each other well.
And that's a good question. Do you what are you planning to major in, or chosen a major?
So I'm planning majoring in kinesiology.
Yeah.
Either that, or I want to be a physical education teacher at high school for special education.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I know in high school it was very kind of here or there when I was younger, but have you already done any college courses?
Yeah.
College credit?
High school I did personal finance, so I got me maybe 1.5 credits for college, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you're just coming in, so I can't ask you how classes are going.
Yeah.
I think what semester started this week or next week?
Next week, next Monday.
Yeah. I don't even know. But yeah, what are you looking forward to on the college side? Academically, you choose your classes, but you got to meet certain general requirements, but you also get to kind of explore stuff. What are you kind of excited for when it comes to the academic side?
Honestly, I'm excited for everything, really. I mean, I'm excited for all my classes I have. The classes I picked, I really like. I think I really just need to balance them all out with having fun, hanging out with friends, but also getting my work done, also training for cross country.
Yeah. And, just college in general, you're a freshman. And it's kind of, probably the same answer, really, but, just what are you looking forward to from your college experience?
Having fun with my friends, making new friends, too, and make sure I make the right friends and right choices.
Well, the season starts in a week. How are you prepared to just get out there and start running?
Yeah, I'm anxious to get out there, but I gotta stay patient.
Yeah. How do you kind of prepare yourself for a race, especially the first race of the season? As Coach DeGraw said, by the time you guys hit that first meet, you've been running against each other as a team for a month. You get to go up against new faces finally in proper competition, but how do you prepare yourself for that?
I usually just a lot of people listen to music before races, but I don't like to do that because, during races, not really listen to music. All you listen to is, the weather, the footsteps pounding on the ground and all that. So I like to keep my head clear, do a little meditation beforehand and all that, stretch, get a good routine going, and then after that, spike up and get ready to race.
Cool, I like it.
Thank you.
I guess, what are your expectations for yourself and the team this year? It is a very young team. Coach DeGraw mentioned the women's team from a couple of years ago, finished 5th, bounced back after the performance, finished 3rd last year. what are you kind of expecting, both for yourself and the team?
I'm really kind of expecting the team just to do well, do their end well, run their PRs, run the best they can, and come nationals. And myself, honestly, just have an all-around great season by myself. Focus on myself and focus on others around me. And yeah, I think if I could do that, I'll have some good times this year.
Cool. Well, yeah, I look forward to
Thank you.
Just seeing how you guys do throughout the season, and maybe we'll have you back on. I know me and Coach, we like to switch out student athletes, but we've also had repeats. So either way, I'll see you around campus.
Thank you.
Good luck with the season.
Thank you.
Starting next week. Jesus,
Yeah.
talk. Reminder to anyone watching, we're going to be starting Wolf of the Week back in September. So for now, thank you for joining us for Coffee with the Wolves, presented by Grounded Coffee Bar. We'll see you next week.